Again, I want to say thank you so much for coming by and being here. No, of course. Like I was saying before, I've heard a lot about you. Like I shoot with a lot of people. I think we shoot with a lot of similar people. And your name always comes up as just good vibes, good energy, just a good time to be around and be shooting with. So I'm excited to get to know you and to sort of hear about how you got started in this industry.
I'm definitely hyped to sort of speak my piece on everything.
Oh boy, is that good or bad?
Things out there. Nah, you know, what is good and what is bad, you know? We're just going to, have a conversation pretty much.
100%. How did you get started? You've been shooting for how long? 9 years or something?
I think about 8 or 9 years. Honestly, I would say 9. It's just been so long, I kind of forgot almost.
That's good, right? Like you've been in the industry for so long?
Yeah. I would like to say it's a good thing. I like to see it as a good thing. I had like ups and downs as far as like my feeling state about things, but...
What do you mean by your feeling state?
Whoa. So, all right. So sometimes like there's been times where I definitely wanted to like quit.
Right.
Like not do photography because I felt like maybe it was bringing it brought a lot of things into my life that I wanted. Maybe sometimes it brought things that I didn't want, and I didn't really know how to handle that or distinguish the two or how to maneuver when things like that happened. So that's kind of made me, maybe I'll be a little bit depressed about doing photography, and then sometimes I'll be like more up about doing photography. So it would fluctuate. So I wasn't really too sure all the time.
What made you unsure? Was it like the quality of your work? Was it seeing other people's work? Like, what is it about that made you feel that way?
Oh man, it goes more so to my personal life. Yeah. Honestly, like dating. Yeah, like,
dating as a photographer is not easy.
Yeah, like I don't want to say it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? I want to say it's easy. I want to say because I don't want to believe that that's my reality.
Right.
I like that. Definitely, I dated this girl. Right. Of course, I'm not gonna say her name. But I dated this girl a while back. Super jealous at one point, like super jealous. Like when I was a little bit younger, when like I was transitioning from having a regular 9 to 5 to having an actual like just quitting and just doing photography full time, and things started moving for me. I started getting more popularity online. A lot of the girls people will say more attractive. I just felt like I was getting models of better quality in terms of how often they practiced, what other shoots and stuff experience what other shoots they were a part of. And like I'll be like, yo, I'm excited. Like I'll tell her like, yo, I'm excited. This person reached out to me. They have a lot of influence online. I think it's gonna go really well. Low key, she's just not really excited about that. I guess she may have interpreted it as that. Oh, he likes this girl. He thinks this girl is better than me. He wants to take pictures of her. And it's like it can get a little like that.
Definitely.
So when you're actually like in love with someone, and they start to think these things, it kind of ruins the quality of life for that person, the quality of the relationship, and then even the quality of your own. So it's kind of like something that I'm like, now I try to keep like, even my Instagram, like it's more work stuff, you know, like I have a personal account that I just kind of started using again, but my Instagram is just work. Like that's why you don't really see too much of me on there, too much of my personal, just what I shoot, who I'm shooting with, just to grow that account in that way, so I don't like, so that way when I get in a relationship, it's like you can't really take it personal if I'm not posting you on there. Not that I wouldn't, but you know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's not really about that.
Work is about work and play is about play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Interesting. Tell me a little bit about how you got started. Like what were you doing before you did photography?
So before when I was really young, I was always a creative. So I would I don't even know if I like that word creative anymore, but
I love that word creative. It can be it can be so many different things. It can be painting, it can be drawing, it could be a pianist, it could be whatever.
True. I guess I like to stick with artists in a way.
I like artists.
So when I was young, I was always an artist. Like I always draw and paint. That was my big thing. I was like, man, I want to get into like animation. I was painting. I would like literally I use fabric paint on shirts. Like my cousin taught me how to do it, and I was really good at it. And I would sell it to kids in my school, everything like that. So I always thought I was going to be like an animator or, drawing, painting. And then I used to use Tumblr a lot growing up.
I love Tumblr.
Yeah, right. It's the best site. But honestly, like they killed it, but it's still a very good site.
I think I still have my old account.
Yeah, listen, that site's good. So I used to go on there a lot. I used to see all the cool pictures and everything. I'd be like, yo, I can do this, So I started my senior year of high school. I took a photography class, but just really for like easy credits, you know? That's because I'm like, man, I'm trying to get high school. I'm done with this. Like, I'm just trying to get this last few credits and get out of here. Right. So I took a photography class and I ended up liking it. So I ended up graduating high school, and then I sold some Jordans I had in my collection. And I was like, I bought a camera. Right. And then next thing you know, I'm outside taking pictures of trees, plants, me, my friends, like just bringing my camera with me everywhere, taking pictures of everything. And that's kind of how it started. And from there, I was happy with that. super happy. Like taking photos like that just brought me a certain level of peace that I didn't even really understand it yet. It wasn't until I got older and started shooting with people that I kind of was like, oh shoot, like maybe I should have
stayed with the plants.
I should have stayed with the plants. So time progressed, you know, I was like, okay, I had this mindset like, okay, you got to grow, you got to get bigger. You know, you got to step your game up. So I seen other cameras. I wanted other cameras. I had like my first camera was like this little Fujifilm thing. I got it from like Walmart.
You started with Fuji.
Yeah, it wasn't even like interchangeable lenses or nothing like that. It was just a decent camera, and it had a pop-up flash, and I would just use that for everything. After that, I bought a Canon T3 from Target. That
was my first camera.
That was your first camera?
T3.
It was a very good camera. It was a very good camera. It was a very good camera. It was a T3. Like, it didn't have any crazy things on it. It just took really good pictures outside in the sunlight. Like, real good. So that's mostly what I was using for. I had the kit lenses. So that's when I sort of started, like, my Instagram journey. Like, I made an Instagram. I started reaching out to people. Of course, at the beginning, nobody would shoot with me.
Right.
You know, like, no one. Like, literally, like, nobody. So I would just set my tripod up, take pictures of myself. I would just practice, take pictures of my friends, practice, look at other people's work online, and just keep going from there.
Mm-hmm.
So as I continued to progress, just got a better camera. I think when I really started shooting people and people started taking me seriously, I bought a Canon T5i.
Okay.
And that was like the workhorse. I was using that. I ran that camera into the ground. Like, it started to even fall apart how much I used it. But that's when I started to grow on Instagram. And Instagram was like, you remember that time where Instagram was like a great place to be on and connecting and like, you know,
I feel like there's a couple eras of Instagram where you could have done that. Like there's an era when it first came out where you can post a picture of like a pack of Skittles and then be like, I'm just eating Skittles, and people were cool with it.
Yeah.
And then there's an era where like a lot more creators were getting out there and showing their stuff, and it was easy to grow and easy to just be creative. That's like 2015, 2014, around there.
Definitely. Because before, like, there was a lot of people who had cool accounts. Like, you see a guy or a girl and her account is real popular.
Yeah.
She's not even doing anything. Like, she's not even really showing her body. She's just cool as fuck. Like, everyone loves her outfits. They love what she's doing. They love where she's eating at. And everybody just thinks she's a cool personality. So they follow her.
Yeah.
I remember that whole era and I was like, well, this is crazy. Like, I'll be in high school and somebody in my high school has like mad followers. And I'll be like, yo, like,
what do you do?
Like, I met you and you're like you're a regular person like me. You know, I guess they just had a way of finessing the game.
Mm-hmm.
So Instagram sort of helped me elevate. From the T5i, I wanted to get a full frame camera, so I bought a Canon 5D Mark I.
Okay,
right, the first full frame camera that Canon ever had. So that camera was so old, but I really liked the quality it produced. I still have it. Like, I would never get rid of it. Yeah, I actually might dust it off next week and like go crazy. So from there, I was just using the 50mm lens, like $150 lens I got off Amazon. I used that for a while, and it wasn't until just like I think I have a Canon 5D Mark II now.
Nice.
Right, and then I recently got a 24 to 70mm L lens for my Canon.
Yeah, my favorite lens in the world.
Yeah, no, it's very versatile.
Very versatile.
So that's kind of what I shoot with now, and I do a lot of film photography too. So I started from high school and just sort of like kept going up like that. Just using Instagram as a tool to make connections with people to work with.
So what kind of photographer would you say you are if you had to describe yourself?
Oh, man, it's a tough one.
Because your work is very varied and it's dope, and I liked how you convert from film to digital and you go back and forth a lot. I know you've been on a film kick for the past few weeks, which is a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. I like that.
Definitely, because film is just like, what I like is like, it's a little bit more like, okay, what you see is what you get. Right. I know people can manipulate it, which I feel like is okay too. But I like that I can just shoot, develop the pictures and send them to whoever and be like, oh, this is the work. It's completed. Right. If you want to tweak it, fine. I may tweak it in a certain way if it needs to be, but it's good as is. And people are more receptive to that versus when you shoot something digitally, someone's like, oh, no, like.
Change my eye color, change my waist.
Exactly. And it's just like, dude, I'm not even into that because like sometimes you'll see like a really high profile photographer. Not like on his Instagram, none of his pictures are edited.
Right.
Yeah, and you'll be blown away. You'll be like, yo, these are amazing. And he didn't manipulate the images like that.
At all.
So, what were you asking me at the beginning? You were like,
what kind of photographer
would you describe yourself? Photographer would I say I am? Oh, man. Gosh. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm whatever photographer I need to be when I need to be it.
If everything is ideal, if you're in the ideal situation with the ideal camera, the ideal subject, like what would that be? Like what would that look like for you on the set? If you can control every single aspect, the time of day, the gear you're using, like the subject, what would it be?
If I could always control the time of day, man, I'd always either shoot in the morning.
Okay.
Like early in the morning.
All right, so it's a morning set.
Or afternoon. Like late afternoon.
Like sunset, golden hour vibes.
Yeah, or maybe a little bit before that.
Okay.
And then midday, I would always prefer like studio.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I used to do a lot of studio stuff. So like that's like those are like my ideal things. But what type of photographer still? I don't know. Because like one time I thought I was a portrait photographer. You know, I was doing a lot of portraits. I was like, man, am I like? Because when I first started, I wanted to be like a high fashion photographer.
Okay.
But then I was like, oh wait, you live in South Florida. They didn't like.
You got swimwear over here.
Like,
you got lifestyle.
You know what's funny is like they'll box you in real quick, man. Mm-hmm. They'll say like, you know, I'm like, do you guys not know that people pay me to shoot the stuff that I shoot? Like, you see only a bunch of girls in swimsuits. I'm like, dude, like I'll suggest other ideas. I'll send a girl like 15 ideas.
Right.
One of them has a swimsuit. She'll pick that one.
It's also I agree with you 100%. It's also where we're at right now. Like that's the vibe.
It's the climate. So it's like, okay, it is what it is. So I don't really know. At one time I was like, am I a swimwear photographer? Like, am I a street photographer? I don't know. I feel like I'm all of those things in one. I can't really just pick one because I do like all of those things.
I feel like I'm the same way. Like again, people try to box you into a specific category, and you're like, I just like to shoot dope people in dope places. So whether you're in swimwear or whether you're wearing a turtleneck, it's the same to me. You know,
it's the same.
What has been like the last, like at least recently? So you've been on the film kick. We're saying, like, what caused that to come out again?
So I always liked the way film looks.
Okay.
And like I was getting into looking at different types of film cameras, and I was like, damn, my film work is really good, and I've been experimenting, and I've been liking the results.
Yeah.
So what it kind of came from, I'm gonna be honest, it came from me not caring too much for editing my photography anymore. Not caring with regards to like you just didn't want to edit anymore, or not caring with regards to like how the photos came out when in post. Didn't care for editing. Like you're like, I'm done editing. Yeah, like okay, I feel like I'm done. Like don't get me wrong, as of late, I've been doing a lot of YouTube University. Like I'm on YouTube learning how to better get edits. Like don't think that your pictures aren't going to get edited, but you know it's just kind of how it is. I don't really want to manipulate them, but I also want to be able to cater to different types of clientele who want different types of editing. Right. Then I could just, charge more money for it. There we go. So that's what caused me more to go with film, because I take the pictures, send them to people, and they'll be like, oh, these are great. These are great. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I love them. Even though people do like my raw images a lot, but not everyone does. Right. So that's kind of what I like about film. It's like I can just, do my thing. And then what it causes me to do is if I pull out a roll of film and it only has 36 shots, each individual shot, I'm taking my time. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait, we got a limited amount. Right. So let me really think. Let me really try to get the perfect shot. Let me really try to. Even though I do think the same way digitally, but digitally, you can snap 100 images and like, you get the picture you're looking for. Exactly. Right. Film is like, oh, there's no redo. You know what I'm saying? You cherish it a lot more. Yeah, exactly. You appreciate it a lot more. So that's kind of what got me on it. I like that. Could you walk me through your process? Like, so you're on set and you're shooting with somebody. Like, what do you look for? What are you thinking to yourself when you're on set and you're holding the camera and there's somebody in front of you there? What are you taking into consideration? What goes through your mind as a photographer? Well, for me, first thing is lighting. Like, how am I going to light the subject? I usually do a lot of, like when I light the subject, wherever I'm shooting, like if we went outside right now and we were doing a shoot, I would probably have the sun to my back and the sun like on you. So directly. Right sunlight on me. Yeah, which a lot of people will be like, like people with light eyes. Can't see shit. Can't see shit. I'm like, man, this is like an ideal light situation for me. That's why I usually do it in the morning or at night. Mm-hmm. So it's just depending on my situation. So if I have to shoot in the morning, I know, okay, I'm sunset or I'm just early in the morning, I can probably use more direct light and not have a problem. I always talk to mom, be like, oh, is the sun like hurting your eyes or affecting it? Because you can close them. I'll say 3 and then you open them. Right. Same thing for the afternoon. If I have to shoot in midday, then I'm like, okay, the light's too harsh. I'm going to go shoot in the shade. Right. Like that's the best way. You still get great lighting. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Especially if there's like white walls around, the light's going to bounce it off. Then like from there, it goes on to, okay, my camera settings. Then I look around and I look around the whole entire environment and think like, okay, where's a good place for me to shoot? Right. Then it's me posing the model. Because sometimes, like I feel like if you don't communicate and help pose, it's almost like, it's kind of like it kills the interaction. You gotta talk and you gotta pose and you gotta help them out with poses, because definitely that's how I go from there. So that's kind of my process. Definitely. So you're very vocal when it comes to posing, because I've seen both and I've been both. I've been, depending on who I shoot with, let's say it's somebody who hasn't really shot too much in the past. I'm definitely more of a very like hands-on directional kind of guy. Like look this way and bring your chin down and move your hand this way. But if it's a model that I know has a lot of experience,
it's almost like I'll give a little bit of tweaking if I see it, but they do their thing. They're very robotic with it. They know exactly what angles work best for them, and they know how to turn and how to look at it. So it's almost magical to see them work on their own. Even as a photographer, sometimes I gotta put the camera down and just watch because they just know their bodies and they know themselves and they know even like the same things that you and I look for when it comes to lighting or when it comes to surroundings. In their head, they're thinking, okay, cool. This is how the lighting is. This is how I know I look best with this situation, which I think is awesome to watch that.
It's great when because it's like, when you work with someone, you're like collaborators. Yeah. So it's great when they have an excellent, like they know what they're talking about. They have an excellent input. And they're like, sometimes they'll tell you like, oh, this pose isn't really for me. And I'm like, okay, talk to me. Like,
let me know.
What is, like, let me know. And then we'll work on it and we'll get some really good stuff. So I completely understand what you're saying. Like, so that's kind of like that's like my process, especially with posing. Like I'm all on the ground. I'm showing them how to do everything. I don't care how I look because I know that there's a greater purpose here. Like, you know, I'm here to create art. It is what it is. I'm like all that posing, shooting, lighting.
You do it all.
Yeah,
when I first got started, somebody told me if you can't get into the pose that you're trying to show the model to get into, don't shoot that pose.
Exactly.
So if you can't do the thing on the floor and the triangles,
because how you gonna ask her to do it and expect it
if you can't do it?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like,
are there any photographers that you've shot? Because I love your story. Your story's up. You're very comfortable being you, which I think is very important.
You got a bug on you.
I have a ladybug. It's been on me all day, and I don't want to hit it.
Nah. I mean, you can just let it cook.
Yeah, you let it sit there, let it vibe. Your stories make me laugh because you're very you know your shit, and you know that you're good at what you do. And I think that a lot of photographers that I've met are very introverted, right? Mm-hmm. They're more shy, they're more low key, and I don't get that vibe from you. I get like I get very confident, very sure of yourself, which is a cool change compared to what I've seen so far. Mm-hmm. Have you always been that way when it comes to your work?
Yeah. Only because like when I was young, all right. So I have like a bit of a competitive nature.
Okay.
So if I'm not good at something, I'm gonna tell you, like, hey, I'll try it, but I'll be like, yo, I'm not good at this.
Right.
But like, let's say you pulled up Super Smash Bros. Right here, I'll be like, yo, like
you got an ice pack, you ready?
Yeah, I'll be like, yo, be ready because like I'm coming crazy. Like that's how we're going. Like same thing with photography. I'm like, don't get me wrong. Do I feel like I have a competition with another photographer? Of course not. But I understand that I have to keep progressing and getting better and leveling up my skills if I want people to pay me. You know what I mean? So, or if I want other opportunities and things to happen and other doors to open up for me. Mm-hmm. So I've always had that competitive nature. So when it comes to me, what I post on Instagram, it's kind of like first, before I get on social media or anything, especially like when I first wake up, I have to kind of remind myself who I am, what I'm doing, and what I'm all about, even when it gets hard.
Right.
So I'm definitely telling myself, like, you know, I'm the best. Like, you're good at photography. You've been practicing this for so long. You know what you're doing. You have a lot more to learn still. Of course, there is no, like, it's a journey. There's never an end.
Right.
But I have to remember who I am, what I'm doing.
It's almost like affirmation for yourself.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So when I go on there, like, I don't know if some people take it as me being an asshole or arrogant or cocky,
I don't think so.
But it's like when you read that stuff, you should say that about yourself.
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
So it's like, you know, just believe it, know it, hold it deep inside that this is true. That's how I feel. So when it comes off to my stories, like, I like to be playful, I like to be hilarious. Like,
you're funny.
And it's like, I'll turn, like, some situations, like, just recently I posted something on my story and I was like, oh, until I get to deposit, until somebody sends me outfits, I'm not putting this on my calendar.
Yeah, I saw that a couple days ago.
Because someone will literally get on an airplane and say, oh, let's shoot tomorrow. Then be on an airplane, take a picture out the window saying, oh, new beginning or something. Yeah, something silly. I'm like, yo, are y'all crazy? Like, they'll play with you like that. And I'm just like, yo. And the thing is like, it's something to take personal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're just living their lives. They're doing things. You know, that's how it goes. But you can tell me, like, if you're not going to make it, you can say, hey, I'm not coming. Like, I'm like, all right, no problem.
Yeah, something came up.
Exactly. Sometimes I can't
I'm going to be late, whatever the case is.
Exactly.
So I like to ask this question to other people because I always get a different answer. What are some red flags that you've seen in the industry that you've experienced as a photographer, and not just as a photographer, but also as, you know, as a model, or that you've heard that other photographers do that, you know, isn't right? I want to start off with things that you've experienced as a photographer, and then I want to get into critiquing our fellow photographers.
So, all right, here are some things that are like sometimes the red flags you don't notice until you meet them.
Right.
So, all right, let's say our girl's like, can I bring a friend? And I was like, of course you can bring a friend. Definitely. Absolutely, 100%. Then she brings someone that is not supportive of what she's doing. Whether even if she's fully clothed in the photo shoot, she'll bring someone who doesn't want, like, she'll bring a jealous boyfriend who doesn't want her to have that sort of attention or be in that sort of light. She'll bring a jealous homegirl who's jealous of her going to the gym or working on her body. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That has happened, and it's awful. It's terrible.
What do you do in that situation? Like, let's say in the situation of a homegirl.
I'm like, ooh.
Like, what have you seen? Like, what have you heard?
Oh, well, I've seen boyfriends, like, kind of just hate on their girlfriend and give her a hard time, like, during the shoot.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never had that happen.
Oh, man. Awful stuff.
That's crazy. I've never had that happen.
I'm like, yo, girl, get some help. Because, like, this is crazy. Like, it's just like who wants to be with someone who's not supportive of what they're doing? Like, there's always someone for you. You know what I mean? So there's that. Girls who, like, you know, they'll just be saying weird things to their homegirl as they're shooting. Like, and I'm just like, do you not support your friend? Like, you know, like, you're hating on her while she's trying to do her thing. It doesn't make sense. She brought you because she trusted you. She's coming to meet me, who she doesn't know, which I fully understand. Of course. So it's like, come on, like, why would you ruin her experience? You know? Red flags mean, like, all right, if you're DMing somebody and they're not being very, like, responsive, sometimes it's just them honestly being busy. But they're not being very responsive, or, like, sometimes you can tell that they're not really valuing the creative space, the realm. Like, you know, they just want cute pictures for their Instagram or their OnlyFans, or pictures from you because they feel like it's going to help elevate them. But they don't really care about having a genuine relationship. Because remember, when we do photos, you could literally take some photos tomorrow. You can go do a shoot tomorrow, and then you could end up doing something so amazing that you set the trend for the next 10, 15 years. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone copies it. People are saving it as inspo. People are recreating it. Like, that can happen. But I feel like once you start to talk to a model, male or female, and they sort of don't understand that, and they sort of play around with the timing, you know, and not being honest, like saying, like, hey, I just don't have time right now. Right. Or simple, I just don't want to, which is valid enough. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's like a red flag for me when I see that you're not really responsive. You don't really want to send outfits because, so for example, I'll tell someone like, yo, send me the looks. You can lay them on the bed. Trying them on does help, so we see how it fits before we get to doing what we're doing on the day of. But some people will take that as like, oh, me being weird. Right. And I'll be like, but wait, I'm going to take 100,000 pictures of you in that outfit on the day of the shoot. So what is it? You know, you might as well show me so we get it right. Like, I have a certain process. Like, I want to see the outfit. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what colors you have. That way I can better pick the location for the shoot. Right. You know what I mean? Like, but people, you know, those are red flags to me. That's always something I feel like when someone's not willing to work with me on that, you know, I should probably like turn down the job, turn down the money, whatever it may have you, because it's just like you guys are being difficult. Right. Do you think it's more like a communication thing? So like, especially with newer models who've never really shot, I can totally see somebody new being like, oh, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. And I totally get that vibe. I think us as creators, we have to be like super clear and communicative because it could be misconstrued in a second. Easily. Even like when you're directing a photo shoot, you look beautiful, great, you know, and you want to be a hype man at the same time. Like, I look beautiful. Yeah, what are you trying to say? How I don't look that beautiful. Right, you're just but, like, yo, but it's all about communication on our end as professional, because we are professionals, you know. So it's our. So I agree with you there. We have to be very specific with our words and very direct and clear, because I've heard stories, man, of, you know, I'm sure you've heard crazy stories too. Nasty things. Yeah, photographers going ham, and it's. I've never met a photographer directly that I could say has been the kind of guy that we've heard about. Like the guy who holds pictures back and wants like sex for them or something like that. Oh my God. And I've heard that before from models. I have too. And I'm like, wait, what picture is worth you giving some guy a blowjob? Yeah, you know? Like, come on. Who did you shoot with? Like, it ain't even, yo, like on some real stuff, it ain't even like that. Like, you know, all right, like, so if all right. So, for example, if you're shooting, it's just like, all right, let's not even talk about it as photographers. Let's talk about, let's say I work at Publix. Right. And I work with some girls there. If one of the girls likes you, she's going to make, like, something's going to happen. Like, she's going to talk to you. You guys are going to hit it off if you guys are meant to talk. The energy's there. Yeah, so it's the same thing you know, you're for a photographer, you meet models and someone likes you. Okay, I don't have to go out my way to, like, I'm not going to. Right. You know, like threaten you to not getting your pictures to get some ass. Like, are you crazy? Like, oh no. Like, I'm not thinking pussy doesn't persuade me. I'm not thinking of like, you don't come to the shoot. I'm thinking, how can I like, no, like the fuck. Like, and you hear photographers, they get into the industry in order to meet girls. Exactly. And it's like, oh man. And I've heard that too. And it's like, but you can usually tell in their work. Yeah, you can definitely tell, like, you know, somebody who cares about their craft and somebody just, you know, taking photo to take photos. Take photos, yeah. You know, and
So it's always something where I see, and again, I've heard these stories from models and their experiences, but I can't say I've met a photographer where I'm like, where he's been like comfortable enough to be like, oh, I traded this for that. I'm like, bro, what? Like, in what world? Or
because you know how it is, you know how men are, like, you know how like we could be like, you know, for example, I know we're not like that. Because I would like, bro, I have no need to ever do that. Like, literally, a lot of the girls I shoot with, you know, become my friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They'll treat me to lunch. They'll say, "Oh, let's get breakfast after this." Things like that. Like, it's never been no crazy stuff. Like nothing like that.
Right.
So when you're saying like we never met those guys to do that type of photography, maybe we have. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we have, because remember, he's probably like, okay, that's my slimy stuff. That's what I do when nobody's really looking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he may not meet you and say, "Oh yeah, like, you know, I got her to because she wanted her picture." Like, he not gonna say that, which is because he knows it's wrong.
Right.
He knows it's disgusting. Right. He knows he shouldn't be doing that. So he's not gonna tell you, because then shit, he tells you, and you might be like, like, you know, and then like he leaves, you're like, "Oh hell no!" No. And then you'll start to warn people. Some girl may hit you up and be like, "Yo, I'm gonna shoot with this and that." And you'll be like, "Hey."
Yeah, avoid that guy. The community's so small. The community is small, man. It's big, but it's small. And like, even if you don't know the person personally, you know of them, you know about them, you know somebody they've shot, and it's like, for you to be creepy here, man, you're risking a lot. You're risking money, your future, your name,
a lot.
You know.
So that's why sometimes I feel like, okay, there's these photographers that, okay, he went to school, he's a lawyer. He just doing photography on the side or something like that. So he okay with like.
I feel like I know what you're talking.
He okay with risking it all. You know, he's not really relying on his income from photography.
Right.
So he's okay to say, all right, you know, I'm gonna try to like finesse a shorty like into liking me, but it's like, dude, it's never gonna happen. Like even all right, so. Even on the outside looking in, like a lot of women will probably think, "Oh shit, like this dude, he's that guy. He knows the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Yeah. He's always with them. He's chilling with them. He's having sex with them." Which is like, damn,
it's never like that at all.
It's never like that. Like,
never like that.
They don't know that, you know, most of the women I meet are dating like musicians.
Yeah, I think 90% of the people I've shot are like in a relationship with somebody.
Are they in a relationship with somebody? And like, all right, so there's a good percentage of them, right? And of course, this is not to bash women. Like, this is not, you know, this is not what we're here to do. But I get what women want in relationships. They want stability, security. They want a guy who they know is going to look after them, take care of them, whether it be emotional support, mental, financially, or all of that in one. Right. So I'm not going to knock a girl for dating a guy who has a certain amount of money, because, hey, shit, like, if a girl was about to have a lot of money and treat me to a nice time,
I'll be a sugar baby too.
Exactly. I ain't turning it down.
Buy all my camera gear.
You know what I'm saying? Right? So it's like, okay, most of them are dating athletes, rappers, producers, you know, entrepreneurs. Like, you know, so what, like, you know, they're coming to us to get their pictures. They're not coming to us to go on a date.
Right. They don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly she's well taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where that comes from. And it's like, as women, they know how they are, and they know how they communicate, and they have friends. So they know who their friends date, how it goes, what type of stuff they like. So it's like, I don't see where that comes from. Right.
I think maybe it's people who don't know the industry, like people who aren't models or people who aren't photographers, that they see the environment, they make assumptions. Because I get that all the time too. I even get that from my family. Like, you know,
like, isn't she your girlfriend?
Yeah, like, no.
Come on now, don't say that.
Yeah, ever. Like, who's that one girl who you know, is that your girl? I'm like, which one are you talking about? Like, which one? Like, it's never like that. I think that's a big misconception about the industry. And I get weird questions too from people who aren't in it. They're like, oh, so it's like everyone gets naked, and I'm like, no, it's not all. Like, it's not like that at all. It's very professional.
It's not like that at all.
And I think like it's almost I'm numb to it now. Like, even to like nudity now, it's very like professional. It's very we're creating art, and that's it. Like, it's not even a sexual thing in the slightest.
Exactly.
At all.
Even a lot of the girls I know their boyfriends too. And we like,
we all hang out together. Go out to eat after the shoot.
Exactly, right? So I'm like, yo, I don't know where that is coming from. That's you know, I don't know what that's about. But you could keep looking out from the outside, looking in, if that's what you want to do.
I think it's just people. Again, it's all outside people. Because if you're in the industry, you don't think that. But the moment that you leave, sort of like models and influencers and photographers and creatives, you're getting people who are looking, like you said, from the outside looking in. And there's just stories that you hear about yourself. Like, I mean, I hear the craziest things, and it's like, I mean, believe what you want, I guess.
Yeah, like I ain't. Yo, if you heard something about me, that shit true. I ain't clearing none of that up.
No, if you heard about me, it's probably not true. I'm gonna clear it up.
I ain't clearing nothing up. Believe that.
No, but yeah, it's just being part of it all. And how do you feel like, I don't know, do you travel a lot when you shoot? Like, do you go to different states a lot, or are you mostly here?
All right, so that's the thing for me. I haven't really been leaving Florida, which is my fault. Like, I should definitely get out of this place.
It's a different vibe when you shoot in different places with different people. Like, I was in LA a little while ago, and the vibe, like, it's very similar to Miami, but the vibe is different. Like, Miami's more like swimwear and body, and same thing as LA. LA is a lot of swimwear, but it's more like emotion. So I'm in a kick right now where even with my collabs, I want to shoot more emotion. Like, I want to get you to express something, whether it's confusion or happy or sad or excited, like being able to show your face and be able to change the expressions that you make for a shot, because that tells a lot about a photo, right? The way your face is going to change the whole entire dynamic. And a lot of the shoots that I've done here so far in Florida, not knocking anybody here in Florida, because I love every shoot I've done, but a lot of it focuses on body, right? Where when I was in LA, it was more like face focused, right? And then I know that I have photographer friends in New York, and their portraits are insane because it's winter half the year, right? So they're not showing body like that. They're showing expression, and they're showing and how their eyes are and how they're looking, and I want to get more into that for my work. Like, that's something that I feel like I struggle in. One is posing, and then the other one is being able to get expression and emotion out of a subject. Is there anything that you struggle with, like when you're shooting, or are you just amazing, incredible, and no one can batch you?
I'm all those things, but how I like to do is I gauge it now, because remember, it takes two. It's not just me. If I'm shooting a subject, it takes two.
Right.
So sometimes I meet a model, and from off rip, I gauge her personality. If she's very upbeat and eccentric and like dancing on tables, I'm like, oh, okay.
That's the vibe.
We know that she's gonna provide with different facial expressions. She's gonna be a little bit more moodier during the shoot. Like, she's like, very expressive. So then I'll be like, oh, can we try stuff like this? And she'll be like, oh, these expressions, like, I'm down for that. Let's do it. She'll immediately sort of be with it. But if I meet someone who's more of like serious, straight faced, okay, I know what we're gonna get. Not that this is bad, but now I know how to play the shoot, like how to go about it. So as far as posing, I feel you on that too. I feel like right now I kind of stick to, like, I have some go-to poses that I know makes everyone look good. Right. And when I shoot them, they like them. Like, oh, I trusted you on this pose and it looked well. So it's like, okay, yeah. All right, I know what I'm doing. But then I feel like right now I need to experiment more and branch out. So I get you. I do kind of, I don't want to say I struggle with it. I want to say I like your vibe, man. Yeah, I do want to say I need to work on it. Right. Because struggling with it means that I ain't doing it right, or I'm failing, which I don't feel like you are either. You're doing a good job. So just got to take some time to work on it and tap in, do some research, do some homework. Definitely. Even pose yourself in the mirror, because, like we said, if you can't do the pose yourself. That's a big thing, man. If you can't do the pose yourself, like, and you got to be able to. How can I tell you what to do if I can't do it myself? I can't do it. Yeah. You might see some pictures surface of me online, like literally showing. Yeah, you gonna open up with OnlyFans? What's going on? Might have to. There's probably pictures of me showing girls how to pose all the time. There's so many of me, man. If somebody wanted to ruin me, they could ruin me so easily. Yeah, they could end it. Send it to my mom. Can we talk? What is going on? Yeah, no. I'm like, look, just take that for what it is. 100%. Are your family supportive of what you do? Oh, man. Oh, gosh. All right. So, when I have Caribbean parents. Same here. So, I have really my parents are old. I have old Jamaican parents. Oh, boy. Yeah. Old Jamaican. If you're not a doctor, a lawyer, you're nothing. Yeah. And they don't even do none of that. You know what I'm saying? Real old Christian Jamaican parents. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my mom and dad. But oh my God, these people are insane. All right. So basically, are they supportive? When I was young and I was drawing and painting and everything, absolutely not. Like, I would never even show my parents like some of the stuff I would make, because it's like I don't have time to get shitted on as a child. You know what I'm saying? Shitted on to get outright disrespected from my mom and dad. Sounds like you gotta go to therapy, man. You got some trauma in you. Listen, I would love to do therapy. Honestly, I talk about these things. I meditate to get past any childhood traumas. But this is really the real thing of it. Like, if you don't have, like, for example, Justin Bieber, right? Parents supported this guy, crazy. He gets signed by Usher when he's a kid. You know what I mean? Like, that could have happened for any one of us if maybe my family was more supportive of what I was doing, or understood that, okay, hey, he doesn't want to be a lawyer or a doctor. He wants to be an artist. Let's feed that as much as we can, because, hey, until he decides to pick something else. Right. But, and it's hard for me to speak to that. I don't have children. So I don't know what it's like to raise children, but shoot, I know what it's like to not just sort of be neglected, you know what I'm saying, as a child in that way when you're looking for that. So like I said, my parents are older. They don't really understand. My mom, born in Jamaica, she's raised on a farm. You know what I'm saying? She's not artist. Like that's not something that, you know, they're hip to, you know?
Right.
My dad, that was more, they describe a lot of my sister describes him as spoiled and stuff like that. Like, and my dad was sort of like somewhat of an athlete a little bit.
Okay.
Like he played soccer a lot, you know, Caribbean dudes always playing soccer.
Everyone plays soccer.
Yeah, everyone plays soccer. And then, you know, Jamaican, so he ran track a little bit. So there was just that. But as I got older, like they would just work, you know, just worked. They just worked. Like, my dad is sort of like, he's that Caribbean dad. So, you know, him and my mom are still together. Like he's there, but he's like in the background, you know what I'm saying? So he's not asking me about my interests, sports, girls, nothing. Like nothing. He knows, he probably doesn't even know how old I am right now. Right? You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. You know, not that I accept it, but I'm past it. I forgive. I understand that's just how he is. My mom was always like, my mom taught me how to do a lot. My mom taught me how to cook. She taught me how to clean. My mom would always say, hey, you got to learn how to clean because a girl doesn't want no nasty man and this and that. Right. So my mom taught me how to clean, do my laundry, tie my shoes. You know, my mom played a big part in teaching me how to be like what I am now. Same for like, you know, my grandmother, my mom's mom. She lived with us, you know. She taught me how, she was like my dad, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? My dad was there and he provided for us financially in terms of like where we lived and everything. But he was just like in the background. So, wait, hold on. I just lost my train of thought.
Please, I was just asking you like how supportive are your family?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm about to get to that. So when I was drawing and painting and stuff like that, my dad didn't really seem very supportive. You know, he would say like, oh, I'm wasting like the paper that's supposed to be used for school and stuff like that. My mom wasn't really paying attention. My mom was like, because like I said, they're religious. So my mom wanted me to do something more like Jesus-y, you know? So I was like, all right, whatever. So I never really cared. I just did my own thing, did my art, and was fine. So as I became an adult and I was telling my parents, like, I remember I was going to college. I was going to community college. I was at BC. I told my parents, like, one time I was talking to them, I was like, which is something I wish I didn't do, but I was talking to them, I was like, guys, like, I don't know how I feel about going to school anymore. Like, I really, like, I
ripped you a new one.
Yeah, like, I'm an artist. Like, I literally took some photos. This is when I wasn't taking pictures of people yet. I was like, oh, I have my own way of doing, like, my style of art, what I like to see. And, like, I posted online, and it seems like, I was like, there's 100,000 people telling me that it's great. You know, like, I feel like I have a future in this. And they were just like, you know, like
ripped you a new one.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? Like, no, that's not, what is that? That's nonsense. Like, it's foolishness, this and that. It's not good to hear that type of stuff. So, but in spite of, I still kept, like, going. So, right now, it's a good idea to not show them because, like, you know, especially with what I shoot and sometimes the girls, and like I even had, like, my mom has become way more supportive now. You know, because now that I don't know why it took her so long, but at least she's here now. She's noticed that, oh, he ain't doing nothing else. You know what I'm saying? He's not changing. Right. So my mom is very supportive now in her own way. But they never really asked, like, hey, like, is your business going well? Do you need help? Is there anything we can do for you? You know, they never really do that, but it is what it is. You know, I'm grateful for my parents and what they've done for me, you know, even now, what they still do.
Definitely. So
are they super supportive? Like my mom is, yeah, but do they really ask and like about it and ask me how my mental health is doing? Absolutely not. Right. You know what I'm saying? And plus, if I start to show them like, hey, I did this, or like if I if I can't show them I did anything that's nude work, because my mom even was like, one time she called me and she's like, oh, we're not shooting anyone naked today, and I'm like, that's literally exactly what I was doing.
You're in the middle of the shoot, making that happen.
I gotta go, you know. So it is what it is, but I even like it's kind of like bad because, like I said, like they're supportive, but like not really. Because I had one of my mom's friends came over, and my mom's friend like knew me since I was like, you know, a little kid, and she comes over and she's like, as soon as she sees you, she's like, oh my God, Andre, and I was like, what's up? She's like, you're an amazing photographer. Like I went on your Instagram, your work is amazing, everything. Wow. I love everything. He's like, if I need a photographer, I'm gonna book you. I'm gonna pay you. Like I'm gonna tell my friends like you're amazing. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, you know, I was literally thrown off. Like I was like, that's crazy. And then she looks at my mom and she's like, wait, you don't see what he's doing? You don't see what he's producing? You don't see what his life's work? Like you, and I was just like, what are you talking about? You know? And like, but of course my parents don't know how to use Instagram, but that's not an excuse. They could ask me and I'll gladly show them. Right. You know, so.
How does that make you feel?
Oh man, back then I was like definitely a little heartbroken, definitely a little like, oh gosh, like this is not nice. But then I realized that it's for me. Right. Like my work is for me. I have to, you know, you know, hopefully one day they'll fall in line and they'll start to change their mind. Yeah, fall in line, man. Like, get with it. Because if my mom tells me, you know, hey, I'm going to start a cooking show. I'm like, oh, shit, like, let's get it.
Yeah, you're
like,
involved. You want to be there. You want to know what's going on.
What I need to do. You know, anything. And that's something that I feel like I've always had to help my mom out, my grandma when I was little. That's something that, like, all right, so Caribbean parents, I don't know if your parents are the same, but they put you to work.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you can't go over your aunt's house
and not do anything.
Yeah. Like, I remember one time my cousin went to one of my aunt's crib. Dude, we cleaned her whole garage, painted the floor, washed her car. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck?
My friends used to come over for sleepovers, and then my dad would put them to work.
What?
Like, my dad would be like, oh, you guys, Saturday morning? No, we're not watching no cartoons, no games. Pull up the homework for the week. He made us study for like an hour and a half before he started playing.
But that's not bad.
No, it isn't.
You know, like when I was a kid, I was like, damn, there got to be some child labor laws against this. Because I'm outside, dude. I'm like, I tell you, went to my aunt's house. We're cleaning her whole house. We're reorganizing her garage, move her car out. We painted the entire garage. Kids.
Making you work.
Wash her car. Then don't get me wrong. Afterwards, she did cook us lobster and take us to the park.
Oh, yeah, they'll feed you for sure.
I mean, like, what the hell?
Do you think that work ethic that you had as a kid helped you become a better creative now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Even in my love life, like, so if I'm dating someone and she's like, hey, can you do this and that for me? I'm like, I get up immediately, like, oh, sure. Like, you know, no problem. Like, I'll get, like, if my girlfriend asks me to do something, I'm right to work on that. Like, let's get it done.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be lazy. I see my dad like that. I can't be like that. That's not who I want to be. That's not who I am. Like I said, yeah, they're not the most supportive, but they sort of fall like, I have my sister, I have an older sister. So my sister's been very supportive of me now, whether I need help financially or I want to get some new equipment, anything. My sister will, like, I can call my sister and I can count on her for in that way, you know? So like, it's been like me and my sister were really tight as kids. And then we kind of like drifted apart a little bit, only because I guess we were just doing different things. But then we sort of became tight again. So my sister's very helpful, you know what I'm saying, now, and very supportive of me right now. So I'm really grateful for that, you know, that's the turnaround. So even if my parents aren't the most supportive, you know, I still have a lot of good friends and people who, you know, notice what I'm doing and are very supportive. Like I said, my mom's friend came over and was like, oh, like, she was ecstatic, you know, she was doing backflips in the living room. Like, yo, this guy's amazing. Like, how are you sleeping on him?
That also made you feel amazing.
Yeah, no, definitely was like, brought me right back up, even higher than I already was. So yeah, you know, that's how I like to view it. So as far as dating, oh man,
I don't even try, bro. I think I'm asexual now. I just want to focus on work and focus on creating, and that's it.
Focusing on yourself and your work is like the first step.
Definitely.
So for me, as I'm gonna say like this, like, so for me, you know, I guess we're getting a little personal, getting a little detailed. So I was in a relationship not that long ago, and someone I really love and care about still, even to this moment. So
I mean, were they in the industry? Were they not in the industry?
I can't really say not in the industry. You know, very smart girl, like college educated, like still in school. Very, very photogenic. One of my favorite model actually.
So she models as well.
Yeah, she models. I would say she can be anything. She can be many things. You know, anything she wants to do. So during our relationship, like I feel like I was a great boyfriend. I was on point. But of course, I'm a man. I make mistakes. Sometimes I say the wrong things. You know, sometimes I just do dumb stuff. Like sometimes I'd literally draw a blank and do something that I was like, "Whoa, I did that! I said that! Like I can't even believe it." Yeah. So there's that. You know, that's why right now I feel like I need to take the time to work on myself and better, like not unconsciously say or do things. That's something that I had to work on. Like we're just talking about it, like doing a photographer, make sure you say the right thing and not say something that someone's going to take offense to. Because like I still sometimes mess up and say the wrong things to a friend, client, make a mistake. You know, it is what it is. So right now, like you said, you're focusing on your work, yourself. That's a perfect thing to do. The more you focus in on yourself, it's like you're going to sort of start to attract exactly what you want.
It's hard to find somebody who understands that my main focus right now isn't out in the world, but it's really the things that I'm creating for myself and for the people around me. I think the industry I don't know if it's the industry that makes it a little bit more difficult. I don't know if I should date girls who are models or focus on girls who are models. Like, I don't know if it's easier to date somebody who understands what we do, right? Because if you're dating somebody who's a model and who shoots often, who's also creative, they understand that it's work, right? But trying to explain that to somebody who isn't used to that world and they come in with these preconceived notions, it's very difficult, right? And so, like you said, it's both sides. But it's bringing them into this world that they're not used to, and hoping they understand that it is a professional environment, that it isn't something that's sexual, and that isn't, you know.
As soon as I leave, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, like, yeah, she don't even know. Like,
that's what you don't want her to think that way, right? Because I wouldn't want a girl to think, like, I want a girl to trust me, you know?
Yeah. And then, like, okay, since, like, also as photographers, since we work so much, like, on what we're doing, like, when do you find time, like, to meet women outside of work? Like, because that's what I also try to do, too. Like, I'm not always, I'm not just trying to, like, every time I meet a girl is, like, somebody I shoot with, you know what I'm saying?
Today,
like,
definitely.
You know, I'm more, like, because I can't really say, it's never me, like, sort of leading in, like, even if I would to think, like, I like somebody from a shoot, I would never be like, oh, you know, like, let's.
That's something I don't do.
Yeah,
like, I don't do it because, again, like, the industry is small, and if she doesn't make a very direct and very specific and very outwardly, like, shot, if she doesn't take that kind of shot, I won't even attempt. I won't even think about it. Like, it's almost like I'm too much out of the way because I don't want to risk reading a sign wrong, or maybe she's just being really nice, you know. And there's a power play there, right? Where you're a photographer, she's there to work, and the moment you read something wrong, now you're that guy. You're that photographer that's a creepy dude who's trying to hit on the girl.
Oh yeah.
You know? So I don't, man. I
don't want a surviving free money documentary.
No, ever. Can you imagine? Like, I'd rather if like she hits you up after the shoot, if she wants to hang out, that's completely different. But like during the shoot and even after the shoot, like I will not hit you up unless it's like here are your raws, here are your photos, here are your selects.
That's what I tell them. I'm like, yo, like I'll be like, yo, save your number on my phone. And someone was like, what? And I was like, how am I supposed to reach you? I was like, listen, sometimes I like, there's times where I had to like straight up be like, listen, I don't like you like that. Like this is, we're working. Like I'm hitting you up because it's time for me to get the work done.
100%.
You know, I like, what makes you think I fuck with you in that way?
What do you think about the etiquette of even the industry when it comes to like collabing and reaching out to the model to shoot with? Do you have any rules that you follow when it comes to a collab?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. So, okay, if we're doing a collab, I definitely feel like it has to be mutually beneficial. So I have to gain, she has to gain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, I want her to gain. It's not like I'm just like, let me get what I get and you're done. Like I want to. That's why like when we collab and I send ideas or whatever. Like I like to kind of ask what a girl's like, what a model, male or female, what are you comfortable with? Like how do you want to be? But then saying what you're comfortable with doesn't really work. Sometimes that could be taken the wrong way because it may be like, oh, he's asking me if I'm comfortable being naked or something like that, when it's like, no, I want to know if you're more high fashion, if you're more swimwear, if you want to do nudity, like what is it? Talk to me. But I more say now, like, how do you want to see yourself? What is your vision? What is your vision for yourself? Like from the photo shoot, like how do you want to see yourself? So that's what I try to ask now. And then we'll collaborate. I'll be like, you send me some ideas, I'll send you some ideas, and then we'll find a middle ground. Cool. And I feel like we definitely both need to treat each other with a very mutual respect. You know what I mean? Because it's not like I'm the photographer. I'm this you know, this god, this Adonis. Like there's only one of me. There's many of you. Like I'm not treating it like that. You know, I understand that I have worked hard on my skills to get to a certain point. To, you know, and you worked on your skills, whether it be, you know, you're practicing your modeling. You know what I'm saying? Getting your outfits together. Maybe you're someone who has a crazy style. You know, whether it's you're doing fitness or you're showing off your body in a swimsuit. Maybe you go to the gym and you put in hours on that. You know what I'm saying? So it's immediately I have like a mutual respect for the collaborator. So like I said, if she takes the time to go into to many thrift stores and put her outfits together, she has a crazy shoe collection, you know, or like she's been modeling since she was young and she's always practicing and she's always working on. I have a certain respect for that. You know, she's, like I said, she goes to the gym, she works on her body, so she's on point when it's time for the swimwear. Even if she's, you know, plus size models too, like if you're, you know, you have that confidence and you're ready to shoot and you're ready to work, no matter what it be, like I have a respect for that. You know what I'm saying? You're working on your skill. I can respect someone who's really got a skill that they stick with no matter what happens, whether they have a lot of money in it, whether they're going broke, whether, you know, people are doubting them. It's a respect thing, you know, because think about it. They've gone through things too, like, you know, a swimsuit model or someone who's showing more skin probably sometimes maybe has a hard time dating. You know what I'm saying? Maybe has a hard time finding the right guy. Yeah. You know, someone who, even the girls who are just modeling and aren't showing too much, maybe their boyfriends become insecure. Just like the same thing we talked about with women, thinking that, oh, she's going to go fuck the photographer, fuck the manager, fuck the stylist.
I've had that happen to me before.
Exactly. Like, not oh, fun. You're fucking this dude. Like, and it's not really even on that. Yeah. So I respect it because what I go through, they probably go through similar things. So it's a mutual respect. So I feel like there's a way we need to deal with each other when we talk. So that's another thing, like, about my red flags, when I feel like a model is not, showing me that same respect that I'm just easily showing her. It's like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, we don't even know each other. Like, there's no need for this, Or like, just recently.
Oh boy, here goes a smile.
Just recently, there was 2 girls that wanted to work with me, right? And we were going to do a joint shoot or whatever. All right, cool. So I wanted to see what outfits they had. They weren't really being very responsive or sending clothing. And like I said, if you're not comfortable putting it on and sending pictures, that's fine. Put it on the bed. Take a picture. Totally fine with me. Didn't really do that. Then they said that they didn't really have time to shoot. And then I guess they went and shot with another photographer, which is perfectly fine for me because maybe we just weren't meant to work. So I don't have no ill will about it. But sometimes I kind of wish maybe the honesty, like maybe just say, hey, like maybe like, we'll just shoot another time. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause they kind of, one of the girls kind of did say that, but I was like, oh, like, I had to send her a voice message like, oh, don't take it the wrong way so that I don't want to work with you guys. Like, I just usually have a certain way of playing things so I can pick the location and everything, But it is what it is. But I feel like let's handle each other with a certain level of respect,
As you should, like in any industry.
Exactly. Or even just regular, just being a decent human being, like let's not get to a point where we're not speaking and it's a problem and it's up and like things of that nature. So.
No, of course. No, it happens. Even this week, I think I had a shoot Wednesday and the girl just never got back to me. And so I'm lucky where I have a studio where I'm not.
Like you didn't book this.
Right, I didn't book this place, right? So they can come here and shoot whenever. But imagine a situation where you book the location or you book the hair and makeup artist and now you're out money, especially on a collab work. Now you're out. Like I know people who put in money for collabs like that. And so it's disappointing when someone doesn't reciprocate that energy and that, trying to work together. And like you said, just meet equally because there has to be a give and take. You have to both succeed when it comes to collab. And I've gotten DMs before from people who want to shoot, which I'm always honored when I get a DM from somebody who wants to shoot with me. Like it feels really good to know that somebody enjoys your work and wants to be a part of it. But then it's like, okay, cool. Here are my rates for my packages for you to pick whatever works for you. And then I had the girls tell me, I only model as a hobby. I only model with my friends. So thanks anyway. And I'm like, that's great for you, but I shoot for work. Like, this is my livelihood, right? And so I was like, the audacity to
okay. So even with that, for me, it's like this. Okay, boom. Long story short, you don't want to pay.
Which is fine.
Yeah. Say that.
Yeah. Like, I don't. Yeah.
Say, hey, like, yo, I'm sorry. Like, honestly, I never really paid for a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Can we work something out? Maybe would you want to shoot with me? Do you like the ideas? Like, what's up? Like, or is there maybe if they couldn't afford that rate? Because I don't want to say that. I don't believe that someone can't afford something. I don't believe that I can't afford something. So maybe they need to work out a certain rate with you. They can negotiate. They can, I would never. I don't know. Me personally, I'm never offended by that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because I know how life can be.
Right.
So it's like, but when they just leave it like that, or sometimes they don't say nothing. Sometimes they just send the rates and they're just seeing. Like, I'm like, why would you do that? Like, you can talk to me.
Yeah, talk to me. It's all about communication at this point.
Not hard. Sometimes I know how it is. You're young. You're in college. Maybe you
can't afford it.
Can't afford it. Maybe you're living at home, or maybe you have your own apartment. There's bills. A bunch of other stuff. Maybe you just crash your car. Who knows? You're going through whatever, but you want to work. And like you said, I'm honored when someone hits me up like, yo.
Yeah, I'm always honored. I'm super honored.
I'm trying to work with you. I'm like, shit, for real?
But me? Little me? You want to work with me?
Me? So like, even now, like I don't take the things personal, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't let it, you can't do what we do and like let things hurt you like that.
Right.
Because there's times like even some of the work you see me posting, some of the people you see me shooting with now, like I would DM them back in the day, like
they won't even look at you.
Nobody talking to me.
They won't even look at you. It's happened before to me too. Like I DM a girl and then it's like seen or not read or nothing,
right?
And then they hit you up a year later, like, oh, I love your work. I'm like,
it's like,
welcome to the club, I guess.
Come on down, right? Yeah. Yo, bro, I used to be such a crazy finesse shark in the water, man. I was going crazy. Like girls didn't even know what was going on. Like I was like, so I hit a girl up, like, yo, let's shoot. She's just leaving me on scene, not replying to my messages. All right, fuck it. Like she thinks it's over. That's her. That's what she thinks. She thinks it's over. She thinks I can't get what I want in this life. Boom. Go on her Instagram. All right, let's see. Going through the Instagram because I'm still following her. Fuck it, because I don't care if she doesn't follow me back. I'm not taking it. It's
not personal.
This life, everything in this life, this is a game.
Right.
Right. On the Instagram. All right, cool. She posts a picture of her friend. Oh, her friend looks like she models. Her friend looks like... So I go DM the friend. The friend's like, oh my God, yes. The friend is very responsive, very respectful. We communicate, we talk, we shoot. Boom. Right? Maybe I do it. Me and her friend, we cool now. We shooting. We making great content. All right, bet. We shoot 3 more times. Now her friend's like, oh, hey, I saw what you did with my friend. I'm like, yeah, come on, man. Like, let's get it. You know, you made it to the future. You know what I'm saying? You're here now, right? Now, do I take it personally? No, because I'm trying to gain. I have something to gain. Mm-hmm. You know, I shoot with you now. Guess what? It's a chain reaction. You tag me, someone else is going to see me. Someone else is going to come back to me. Someone else is going to see me. Even if, because you know how it is, the models get, well, first off, Instagram, if women decided to say, hey, if y'all don't fix the platform to the way we want it, we're going to get off it. If women collectively did that Instagram would die. It'll probably,
any platform, honestly.
Any platform. Yeah. It'll probably become something more for like, okay, if I want to buy clothes or I'm a business owner, it'll thrive in that way, but it will not be as popular. It'll be like some regular app. Mm-hmm. You know, if women have mad power in that sense, because you could not follow women or be engaged with women at all on your Instagram, and you're gonna go on the explore page and you're gonna see women.
You're gonna see them all the time.
You're gonna see them all the time. Yeah. And they had their accounts, bro. I know a girl who has more followers than like Dick's Sporting Goods. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the influence that they have is huge.
It's huge. Yeah. The impact that they have on the social media is crazy. They have the power. They're powerful in that sense. If they decide to come off and say, you know, we're leaving, whatever. So you got to know, like, you got to use it to your advantage. So, for example, the girls are getting more love. Like, you can do a bunch of photography. You could post the same photography she posts, the same pictures you took with her. She'll get like 10,000 likes. You'll get like
300.
If it's a good day for you.
Yeah. It's a Monday morning at 11 a.m.
Yo, you got to time. You
got to time it right. Look at your watch.
Right, literally. Bro, she posted at midnight.
Yeah, midnight, 3,000 likes.
8,000, 10,000. 15, 20.
It's insane.
100,000.
You got no love, man. Does that scare you when it comes to the apps, though? Like, with like the rise of TikTok now and the rise of video, how do you feel about that?
I'm not worried.
No?
I'll adapt. I make more videos on my iPhone. I edit them up. I do my thing. You know, I'm not the best videographer yet, but we working.
Yeah.
I'll adapt. But I still care more about pictures. I go on Instagram. I enjoy the fuck out those pictures. Yeah. I comment. I'm like, yo, this is great work.
Share,
like. Because I'm on Tumblr. I'm looking at pictures. Like, I like pictures. I don't care what Instagram can say, oh, if you're not jumping out of a plane, we ain't pulling your shit. I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I'm still going to do me. Like, they're not going to, Instagram, those people are not going to put me in a chokehold and like, make reels for us. Like, you know, they're not going to do that to me. I'm going to make them because, I like them. They're fun. But I'm not going to conform to a certain standard. Like, no more pictures. We only doing TikToks right now. Like, nah, like, I'm a photographer. I'm an artist. Nothing, that's never going to change. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to adapt. You know, I'm gonna get with it. I'm gonna make videos. I'm gonna get nicer. They force me to be more of a videographer at times. Every shoot I do, I make sure I have some BTS. Make sure I make some reels. Make sure we got somebody's phone going. Make sure we're getting extra, because even then, at the end of the day, too, well, I was trying to tell some people, like, okay, let's say you're a model. And you're taking a bunch of pictures, but you never post any of them. That's still not a bad thing. Like, or if you have a bunch of content that you have laying around, let's say, God forbid, tomorrow you break your leg and you're laid up for a couple months and you can't shoot like that. Oh man, you're sitting on content. Yo, you could even you could take photos at 25, turn 45, and you're like, oh, here's these photos I never showed you guys.
But everything is content,
and still monetize it probably. Right. So sometimes I feel like people don't really get that, you know. So wait, where are we? Wait, I don't know why.
No, but I like it. I like the.
Lost my train of thought.
No, just thinking about like how with the rise of TikTok now, and as a photographer, like, does that scare you at all?
Nah, no. So I'm not worried. No. Not worried, because like I said, I'll adapt. You'll adapt.
You have no choice. You have no choice.
I have none.
Do you think that, like, even like with technology is changing so much, on your phone you can do so much content? Are you scared that people like you and me are like going out of work? Absolutely.
Nah, because remember, like if we're conscious creators, right? In this life, you know, you're a god or goddess for women. Like, you know, you create what you want in this atmosphere. So you got to level up your skills. You know, you got to get better with the phone. You got to get better with your camera. You got to add some effects. Remember, the phone does a lot, but your camera still sort of has a certain level of control that the phone doesn't provide, even though they're getting really better with it. But still, or even like you practice your creativity constantly. Like, everyone's creative. Even a businessman, he finds creative solutions at work, but they don't view it that way. So that's where we get the advantage. We constantly practice our creativity. So someone's gonna have to hit you up and book you for your creative eye.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They have no choice.
Right. They're not booking you for a photo. They're booking for the whole package. They're booking for your vision, your eyes, the way you see the composition, the way you see the model and the subject and the environment. Like as I tell people all the time, like you're not, especially when they complain about my rates, for example, like you're not just getting a photo shoot. Like there's a lot that you're getting that you don't even see, that you don't even pay attention to. You're getting from the way that I view the world through my lens. That's the same thing with any creative and any photographer, any videographer. You're not just paying for a set of photos, you're paying for an experience. And I think as photographers, something that I always tell like up and coming photographers is try to make every shoot you're with an experience. So make sure you're controlling as much that you can control as possible, and control the environment, the time of day, the music that you're playing, the clothes if you can, because you're providing an experience for somebody. It's not just bring the camera, point and shoot. It's it's your personality, it's your vibe, it's everything that you're getting. So it's a big thing. That's what I try to stress out to new photographers, and that's what I always tell models as well. Like it's not just a set of photos. It's you're getting to spend time with somebody's energy and somebody's creative process, which I think is super valuable to anybody.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And it's like, man, like being able to work with someone like yourself or me, like where you know you can come and be comfortable and you don't have to worry about nothing crazy happening to you, or you not getting your photos, or you know me monetizing your work, the photos that you're in, and then not telling you, not hitting you up, or you're hitting my phone. I'm blocking you, like, you know. And I've heard that stuff. That stuff happens, man. Like it's just like,
vet your photographers, ladies. Always vet everybody. Ask questions. Don't go meeting up these random guys.
Yeah, you know? Like that's another thing too. So I wish there was some like sort of review system on Instagram. Like,
it could be.
Because or like what I tell girls is to do is they'll be like, I'm like, dude, actually, if you see a girl shot with him, go ask that girl. Yeah. Like sometimes people don't want to do certain things on Instagram. Like, that girl doesn't follow me, I don't follow her, I'm not gonna watch her story. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? The whole point is to share and connect. Like, what are you
networking to me?
Go just DM her and ask her, like, hey, how was it shooting with this person? Like, or just like if you want to go to a certain restaurant, be like, hey, was the food good? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Is it worth going?
Is it worth going? Like, it's as simple as that. So like, don't get in your own mind about it and psych yourself out. Like, it's literally what it's made for.
Before we close off, I wanted to ask you, are there any photographers that inspire you? Like whose work that you look at and you're like, wow, that's super, super dope. Like you get inspiration from at all?
Okay. When I think of it, because like I've been, like I said, lately I've been looking into other creatives, you know. So for one, I'd have to say my homie Aaron. Because like Aaron's a different type of creative, you know. And like he does a lot of music, but his photo work is like definitely different from a lot of what I've seen from anyone. And he did this shoot with two of his cousins that I was like, I'm looking at the photos, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? Like, even it's simple, but the way he decided to put it together and then the risk he took on the experiment was just like, what? Like, I haven't seen nothing like this, you know what I mean? So that in that moment, I was like, my mind was opened up and I was pushed to do more. Like, I'm truly, honestly inspired. So then there's another photographer. I never met her. She's a Colombian. You probably may have heard. It's like, I don't know. Yeah.
I knew that.
I'm like, I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, damn.
I have the biggest photographer crush on her, man.
Oh, right.
Like, I would pay her wage just for her to talk to me for an hour. Like, for real. She's so creative.
She's so good.
And she has a way, like, I feel, this is just my opinion, but I feel like female photographers shoot the female body better than I could ever do that.
Of course.
Right? And better than any guy can do it.
Of course.
Because they know themselves, and so they know how to express themselves in a way that make other women feel comfortable and able to get into certain poses that I couldn't even think about.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'm thinking about her now. I got goosebumps. I love her work, man.
Yeah, saying every time because it's like she has a style.
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing over and over again, but she has such a crazy new way to present it to you each and every
and she's a model too, so sometimes it's even her in the photo and you don't even pay attention to. Yeah, like how'd you even get that of yourself?
She's someone that I feel like, damn. I'm like, like it's like she's
a 5, man.
I can't even lie.
5.
She's killing the fucking game.
We have like the big guys over here down in Miami too. We have like Joey Wright and Ronald Wayne and Orangutan and like all these big guys who shoot here are also very, very impressive and they just dominate what they're good at. It's a little bit like what you said in the beginning. Like Joey Wright is straight swimwear, right? Ronald Wayne is straight swimwear.
Straight swimwear.
And so they dominate that. They're like perfectionists when it comes to swimwear. my orangutan is like, he has a vibe where I think he's the very first photographer to really hit the orange and teal vibe. And so whenever I see that color grading,
you know it's him.
You know it's him, or I know that they were inspired by him. Like,
exactly.
Because he just has this way, like, that's just him. That's his style. Anyone else who does it, it's
like, because like when I was young, all right, so here's a little bit of I don't know if it's an ego thing. So when I was younger, I'm following all these guys, I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm coming up, I'm trying to get the game, I'm trying to get the advice. And then like I started to grow up and I'm like, wait a minute, I think I like my stuff more. You know what I'm saying? Not that they're not great creators in their own right, but I was like, oh, I gotta follow my own path.
Definitely.
So what I like about like someone like the orangutan's work is like what's fire is that I believe it's him and his wife. And I like that his wife also models and that they're so involved with the process and then like I'll even see her like tying up like the girl's clothes and she's doing everything and they have and it's like, remember they're shooting, like I said, even like Peraza, it's like niched. Like you said, like Ronald Wade or whatever, like it's niched. But they're such perfectionists at it that they find a new way to deliver it. Right. So it's not just the same pose, it's not just the same exact outfit, it's not the same thing. So they're great creators in their own right. You know what I mean? Great. I think he's the only photographer. Isn't he like there's like millions of followers?
Yeah. He's
like,
huge. Like,
he's a big fucking deal. Deal. No disrespect, never. Like he's they're doing the Lord's work over there.
Yeah, and they've been shooting for such a long time.
Such a long time.
Back when Instagram first started, they were out there, grinding. And so to see that their career progressed so far, and I mean, it's been near 10, 12 years, but seeing like it's possible for anybody.
Yeah,
because nobody starts off dope, right? Yeah. Everyone's shooting tables and trees. Their mom,
literally.
Yeah, everyone's shooting your friends. So it's like everyone starts off with a certain position, and you just gotta practice.
Because that's the thing. Like I remember, I was telling you, I was like I said, it's not like an ego. It's not me to say like, oh, I'm like, I know I said that like, oh, I'm better, but that's not really what I mean. Right. You know what I'm saying? So first I was looking up to them in a certain way. That I was like, nah, I got to look up to me.
Right.
I got to push myself to get to where I not necessarily past them or on their level, but to a level for me, like that's to a certain height. So it's like I said, respect for the work, because I respect the work. Like if you're a hardworking whatever, you don't even have to be photography. If you're some guy in finance who's crazy good at it, like bro, respect. You know what I'm saying? You're working on cars, whatever it is, respect. So whatever may have you, like it's never like there's some ego, of course, always. We're humans that's involved, but like I said, respect to those guys.
Respect to everybody with a camera, without the camera, working, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Models, respect to everybody.
Models. It would be great to have a model on the panel,
I'm thinking, but I wanted to focus on just people behind the camera. That was my goal.
Honestly, definitely, because I feel like it's too much, like, not to say it's too much, there's a lot of podcasts that do, like,
the model thing.
Oh, let's get the girls in here.
Yeah. I want to focus on creators, man, because that's, again, I'm inspired by people like you and people who are, they love what they do. And so it's just as much for me as it is for anybody else watching. So.
Yeah, I'm inspired by you now. This is something I've always wanted to be a part of. Like, this is actually incredible.
I'm super excited. I want you to come back. I want to do next time you come back, we're gonna do a big panel.
Yeah, definitely.
But I definitely I want to thank you again for coming by and chopping it up with me for a couple, an hour or two, and yeah, please let's do this again. And again, I love your work. You're one of the people I wanted to have here first. So thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you for having me, man.
Of course, man. Thank you.
Definitely.